I woke up one day and noticed a slight change in the color of my azolla. Before I could figure out what was happening, it was already reddish brown, and by the time I found a solution, the entire pod was reddish pink. At this point, I thought the azolla would never come back to life. So why does azolla turn red? First of all, relax. This is a normal reaction in azolla farming and it's curable. The main reason I have seen azolla changing from green to red is exposure to direct sunlight. You will know sunlight is a problem if your azolla is partially red or pink. For example, my azolla pod was under a tree's shade, but the shade wasn't covering the entire pod. So, the azolla started turning red in the sections receiving direct sunlight, while those under the shade remained green. But the solution here is to provide an artificial shade to cover the entire pod. I didn't do any other thing, and the azolla regained its lovely green color after 1 week. Little did I know that the problem was just one in many. After about 1 month, the azolla started turning red again, and I'm like, y'all, I thought we were done with this problem. The second reason is lack of nutrition. Like any other plant, azolla needs nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, potassium, iron, and other minerals to thrive. The rate at which the water in your pod loses these nutrients will depend on several factors. For example, the size of the pod, whether it's raining, how much rainwater is getting in your pod, and the amount of manure you used when you started cultivation. For example, although I have covered my pods with a greenhouse paper, water fills and overflows when it's raining heavily. This dilutes my azolla's nutrients composition, leaving it at the risk of turning red. This forces me to add manure even on a weekly basis to maintain a healthy environment and keep my azolla green despite heavy rains. Supposing it's not raining or your pod is well covered from rains, you should be maintaining the water in the azolla pod for at least 6 months before changing and adding fresh water. During this time, add nutrients every month to maintain the nutrition levels azolla needs to thrive. So, how do I know that my azolla pod needs more nutrients before 1 month ends and when it's not affected by rain water? Number 1, when you notice that there is a steady change in color from dark green to yellowish on the top layer of your azolla leaves. This might not be visible if you're not keen in checking your azolla every day. Mostly, if you do not add nutrients immediately, you spot the yellow color. The changes in color will happen back to back. That is, it's yellow today. After 2 days, it's brown. After another 2, it's red, and eventually it becomes reddish pink. At this stage, it starts to dry up, so I don't want you to go to that extent. The solution here is to add nutrients as soon as you spot the yellow color, but don't let it to go to reddish pink in an extreme case. Okay? Now, you could be asking, what's the difference between a change in color because of sunlight and a change in color because of nutrient deficiency? The difference is in how the azolla has decolorated. We said sunlight is only discoloring the places that is getting direct sunlight or the places that there is absolutely no shade. But if it is nutrition, it will happen uniformly, meaning the red color will be affecting your entire azolla pod from end to end. Okay? Your pod could be having the right nutrients. In fact, it could be even under a shade, like properly covered, but still turn reddish pink. So why is that? So this is the third reason your pod could be pink. This is because of an algae that is usually green. It doesn't have roots and it produces bubbles at its maturity stage, especially when it is hot or especially if you're living in extremely hot areas like Machakos, Mombasa, those areas. I once added nutrients to my azolla pod and I didn't realize that I had put too much. So since it was very hot, azolla grew very rapidly. Given that azolla releases nitrogen in the water, the pod had too much nutrients that contributed to the growth of this green algae. In case you find that the roots of your azolla are green, know that this bad algae is starting to form, and soon your azolla might start turning reddish brown or pink. The solution for this is to use hydrogen peroxide to kill the bad algae and provide a conducive environment for your azolla to grow. If you haven't made your azolla pod yet, please check out the following video and I'll see you over there. In case you have not subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscription button and you will enjoy more of this kind of content. Make sure you share it to your friends, family, and also those people that are doing azolla cultivation. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.